Mama Bear here, and I'm working in collaboration with the Waldock Way and Rooted in Rest with Jessica and Abby. Jessica and Abby, hello, hello darlings. This time we're bringing you tips on how to make your homeschool an amazing success. And not just tips, 5 tips, 5 amazing tips that will just make it all perfect. And nothing will ever go wrong with these 5 amazing tips. Just kidding, I wouldn't lie to you. Yeah, you're gonna hear lots of tips from all kinds of people, and they're gonna be focused around, you know, the right curriculum or co-ops and classes, or when to wake up, when to go to bed, and all those tips are so good. And you're gonna hear them and be like, oh, I should try that, you know, whole getting a good night's sleep thing. So 5 tips, 5 tips, 5 tips. 5 tips. That's one spirit hand. It's hard to kind of break it down into 5 tips unless you kind of pick a category to give your 5 tips in, because I could tell you 5 tips for, you know, choosing a curriculum, 5 tips for picking the best, you know, co-op or classes or something like that. Lots of tips could be coming at you. So my 5 tips are going to be around something specifically that I think if you don't get this part right, it might make the other stuff harder to make sense of sometimes. And here's what I mean by that, because my 5 tips are all going to center around the topic of vision. Vision. Tip number 1. Answer this question. Why are you homeschooling? Why? Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it, you crazy person, you? Just kidding, mostly. Why are you homeschooling? Answering this question, you're getting to the core of what matters most to you. Imagine like being in the woods and it's dark and you're lost. I mean, this isn't like modern day with like GPS, and it's like dropped in the middle of the woods and you need to get north. What is your guiding star? What is the North Star for you? When you answer the question, why am I homeschooling? You're answering that core question of what is most important to us. So for us, it's kind of like saying this is our reason, this is our North Star principle. Of all the guiding principles, this is like, if we look up and we're trying to relocate ourselves, where are we going? Which way are we going? We're so confused, we're lost. All you need to do is whoop, look at the North Star, right? The core, answering the question, why are you homeschooling? That's your North Star, right? Answering the question, why am I homeschooling, is getting to the core of why you are doing what you have bravely chosen to do. You are so brave, so brave. All right, so you've answered the question, why am I homeschooling? Now you need to move on to step number 2. Step number 2 is creating a vision statement. Now, that's a little bit different than step number 1, because step number 1, you're just, you know, sort of asking that broad question, why am I homeschooling? Okay, well, these reasons. Now you're talking more of like, okay, our vision for our homeschool is taking that North Star principle, right? Our vision for homeschooling is taking that core reasoning and saying, this is why we're doing this. So, okay, so here's the truth. I don't think you have to have it written out wonderfully. You don't have to have it etched in stone or embroidered on a pillow. Your vision statement can be more of like a mantra. It can be a phrase, like something that you and maybe even your kids have worked on together to say, this is our homeschooling vision. Having your vision statement is important because it's going to help in step number 3. Step number 3 is choosing the strategies to accomplish your vision. All right, so this is the part, the strategy part of it. This is where you're going to hear about, are we routine people? Are we scheduled people? Do I go to bed late? What co-ops are you a part of? What classes are your kids participating in? What curriculum are you choosing? What time do you wake up? What time do your kids wake up? When do they go to bed? Do you drink coffee? Do you drink tea? Do you drink warm milk and rock yourself to sleep at night? Oh, please help me tomorrow. The fact is, in homeschooling, it's the strategies you choose that are going to kind of morph and change more likely, if anything changes, than your vision, right? That's why it's so important to talk about vision, because if you look back, you're gonna say, well, that, like, my vision hasn't really changed. I still want to be this, that, or the other thing, but what we're doing isn't working. This isn't working, and that's not working. Or this is working great. What can we do that's more like this and maybe less like this? Choosing strategies land too is a tricky spot, because this is where I feel like homeschool mamas, like Mama Bear, you might get bogged down because someone's going to tell you like, you need to be drinking decaf tea in the morning and not coffee. And you'll be like, okay, I need to be drinking decaf tea and not coffee in the morning because they said I need to do it. That's not, it's a strategy. They've said this is our strategy to accomplish our vision, right? You may be like, coffee. Come on, back it in. Beep, beep, beep. Caffeinate my face and the rest of me. Your strategy is not necessarily my strategy. And that is the amazing thing about this kind of collaboration, because you're going to sit there and you're going to hear people say, this, absolutely this, and this works for me, and this was, and you're going to say, okay, we're going to try these strategies, and another one bites the dust. It's important that whatever strategies you choose, that you take the time to see if those strategies fit in to accomplishing your vision, right? Because that's the greater goal. Our vision is what's important. And if you're choosing strategies that are hindering the accomplishing of that vision, then that's when you need to potentially reevaluate your strategies, most likely, because remember, your vision probably isn't going to change a whole lot. Which brings me to step number 4, which is return to your vision often. And that means you're going to be in the thick of it, right? You're going to be homeschooling, you're going to be rolling, and sometimes you're going to be like, record scratch. What happened? We were doing fine, and then, or maybe we weren't doing fine, and like something's not working. This isn't working. That isn't working. This needs to be tweaked. This needs to be reevaluated. So this is when you turn and you look at all those strategies that you've chosen, curriculum, classes, co-ops, routine versus schedule, all that stuff. That's when you take these strategies and say, okay, well, what needs to change? What isn't working? What needs to be tweaked? And you don't just look at this and say, well, let's do this and let's just, you always need to take this, and then you need to take your vision, you need to return to your vision and say, okay, well, here's our vision, and I need to evaluate, like, how are these strategies not helping me accomplish the vision, right? And if you always keep this in light of this, right? Strategies in light of vision, it's going to be easier. Like, well, I don't know why this isn't working. Well, remember, you want to be here, which is not so much this, like this is pushing this, and this, and like, that's not you. That's not what you want to accomplish ultimately. So that's probably why you're like, this isn't working for us. I don't like doing this. I don't like it. Step number 5, the final step, is that you need to reevaluate your vision. Now, this is probably going to be something that you do at the end of an academic school year, whatever that looks like. If you're schooling year long, you know, kind of before you enter whatever that next grade is, or you know your own lulls, your own, you know, schedule kind of thing. But you need to look back and say, okay, did we get our vision statement like right? Is there anything that we need to add or tweak? Chances are, even through the years, it's probably not going to change like a whole lot. But maybe as your children get older and they become more involved in creating that vision statement, it might actually, because you may have had a goal for them to not be so academically minded, and now suddenly they're like, Ivy League, baby. Okay, well, whatever. You go, homeschool child. So those are my steps. Again, they're all kind of around this all-encompassing idea of having a vision for your homeschooling, but I really do think it's going to help as you are deciding, especially through all of those things that are part of homeschooling, and saying, okay, whoa, hold up. Like, let me bring my vision down and say, does it work? It works. I don't know why, I just got a puppet. This is my vision puppet. All right, my bear, that's it. I'm done. Go now. Go. Love those cubs.